It was 18 years ago on September 11th, the United States came under attack by terrorists. 4 passenger airliners were hijacked in midair and flown into the Twin Towers of New York, the Pentagon, and finally into the countryside in Pennsylvania. Young pilot Heather Penney had just finished training with her air squadron the day before when the terrorists took an unprepared America by surprise.
On the morning of 9/11, I was a young lieutenant, a brand new wingman fighter pilot in my squadron in Washington, D.C. at the 121st Fighter Squadron. But we were a guard unit, and we weren't an alert squadron. We weren't sitting air defense. So we didn't have any missiles, we didn't have any live weapons on board, and we didn't have the authority to launch. It wasn't until after the Pentagon was hit, nearly an hour after the Pentagon was hit, that we finally got the word from Vice President Cheney to launch. The only option that we had was to ram our aircraft into the incoming airliner, which we only later learned might have been Flight 93.
Penny told the crowd at Southern Utah Veterans Home that the passengers were the real heroes because the call to action was too late. Flight 93 was diverted from its course when passengers overtook the hijackers, bringing it to the ground in Pennsylvania.
We were no heroes that day. Sass and I were mission failures. The passengers on Flight 93 are the true heroes. We got the authorization to launch far too late. We couldn't protect the Pentagon, and when you actually go back and reconstruct the timelines, there's no way we could have intercepted Flight 93 anyways because the passengers had crashed the jet half an hour before we even got the authorization to launch. There were so many failures that prevented us from being able to protect and prevent anything, that for me, there's a bitter taste in my mouth because we were such a mission failure.
Penny sees the legacy of 9/11 honoring the spirit of heroism in the days after, when our country came together as one nation. Her mission now is to inform generations born after 9/11 about what really matters in hometown America. She said service isn't just about the military, but everyday heroes.
I actually also think so much about the passengers on Flight 93 and how heroic they were and what they did for the rest of us. And I think about the first responders and the police officers and the EMTs and the volunteer firefighters and everyone who rushed into the buildings, and the people in the buildings who helped each other rather than just trying to save themselves. And I think about how we all came together. And I think about that, I think about those heroes. And that, to me, that heroism in average, ordinary, everyday Americans, that's the real legacy of 9/11.
She represents the best of America, the best of who we are as a people and as a patriot. And she is the kind of service person that today can learn from this and put into effect the planning, and hopefully we have it, to be sure that we don't get blindsided again.
And those who lived through previous battles remember it all with a broken heart of bravery and tears.
It brought back a lot of emotions. It really did. And I salute the lady for the sacrifice that she's made.
Those who heard her story lined up to shake the woman's hand who was willing to risk her own life in a call to duty. But on this Patriots' Day, what is most important is to remember and pay tribute to all heroes who volunteer their service before self.
I hope that when we think about today, we think about what it means to really be an American in this chaotic and diverse and different. And yeah, we're messy and it's hard, but we're all in this together. And there are things in this world more important than ourselves, and we all belong to each other.
From Southern Utah Veterans Home in Ivins, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.